Welcome everyone to Hit the Road with Dave Boyce. My special guest today is none other than Markus Burke. Markus Burke, thank you so much for joining me. Well, I can call you Eric, right?
You got
I want to talk
whatever
to
you
Eric.
want. Whatever you want.
So, first of all, I have to say happy birthday.
Thanks.
How old are you?
33. Old man.
42. Don't tell
Are
me.
you?
Yeah, I'm old.
Oh, you don't look a day over 45, Dave.
Thanks, man. Thank you. The last time we spoke, not face to face, but on a podcast,
Yep.
you were just heading off to Mexico. It was the first couple days into the whole tough enough.
Tough enough.
Experience.
Yeah.
Looking back, I just want to quickly maybe get you a recap of what you learned from that whole experience and how that all went. And well, we know you didn't go on the show, but how was the whole experience?
It was like almost, I'm not gonna say surreal, but almost in a way where, like I mentioned last time we did this, coming from the Maritimes, man, we don't get a lot of opportunities, and sometimes we forget. Even like, I know that I'm good at what I do, but sometimes you forget because you have no eyes on you. Like when I travel to bigger cities, I see guys that are half as talented as the guys that we have in the Maritimes. And I mean that really, like, guys like I mentioned, like a Titus or Julian Young, Double XL. I don't want to leave anybody out, but there's a bunch. But they get more exposure. And I see like, oh, they got like 5,000 Twitter followers or whatever that may be. And, and nothing against them, but they're not as talented as what we have here. But there's just, so I kind of got used to, you kind of get in that mentality of being from the Maritimes where you perform in front of the Maritime audience and that's all you're going to get. But with the Tough Enough thing, when you wake up and there's 20,000 views on your video, it's kind of, it opens up different kind of avenues and different things. I got bookings out of it. So looking back, what I learned from it, I guess, was just fucking go for it. Yeah. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you're from a small city. All you have to do is give your 100%, and don't let anyone tell you, well, just because you're from a certain area or because you're who you are and whatever it is, that you can't do something. So, I guess, whatever.
And we'll touch base. Oh, you got to turn me down a little bit. I can hear me echoing.
Nice.
There you go. We'll touch base in a few minutes about you. You announced earlier that you're moving, and there's a lot of speculation. The fans sent me all kinds of questions. But before that, we'll talk a little bit about the last, 6 months. And IHW just had their 10th anniversary special. And before we get into the whole show and the venue and all that stuff, you've been with them since the beginning, right? 10 years. You started as, I believe, Mr. Suave, Joshua.
Yeah. Actually, Joshua Arroba let me a little history lesson for you.
Okay.
IHW, well, Julian Young and Titus started a company, and it was very much a backyard company, and it was called I think it was called Irish Town Hardcore Wrestling at the time, which not a lot of people I think know that. But so in their last backyard show, I kind of met them through a grapevine. I had a girlfriend at the time that worked with them, and so I met them, and I'm like, oh, well, I can try to be a wrestler. And of course, how many times do you hear that? How many times do I get messages of, oh, I want to be a pro wrestler, So they heard that a bunch of times. But when I showed up to their house at a certain time, all right, I really want to be a wrestler. I started bumping with them and stuff. So they brought me along to their last show, backyard show. And that was right before we got trained by Emil, I think. Yeah, it was right before we got trained. And I was Victor E. Suave. Ladies and gentlemen, my first gimmick, Victor E. Suave.
What was E for?
Victor, see, that's what I didn't get. I was like, oh, Eric's my name, so Victor E. But it was Victory. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see that now. Okay.
Yeah, I think I got that like 5 years ago. I'm like, oh, that's my Victor E. Suave. I get it. Right. So, I can't forget what. I started from them, basically right from the first, as they call it, an OG. I think the only ones left are me, Titus, and Julian,
right?
I believe, that are still kind of doing it all the time.
And what are your thoughts on IHW in the last 10 years? I mean, for a company in the Maritimes to last that long is quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, no, it's and people, they've been steady. How can I say this? They've gone forward. Like a lot of people have tried to come in and try to say, all right, this is how you should do things, and they're just like, well, if we do things like that and things don't work out, then that's it for us.
Right.
So what they've done is just keep going forward, and sometimes they stale and but still keep putting on shows. So it's been great. That's my home, man. It's always going to be my home. It's IHW. If ever, I've done a lot of great things in Halifax, and I credit them for giving me the opportunity to just try something new. And the Wrestling Center guys, I really appreciate them very much. And excuse me, but IHW is where I started, and if that's my home. It always will be.
Right. They just had their 10th anniversary show, and it was at the old Cosmo Complex. Tell me a little bit of what you thought of the venue, because there were a little backlash for a few fans, but for the majority, they loved the atmosphere. I know I did. So what did you think of the atmosphere in the venue?
Talking to Peter Smith, Big Brody Steele after the show, if he says that was one of the best experiences in wrestling, and he's been all over the world. So you can just imagine how it felt being in the ring, just looking up, having a full kind of second story. You were there. Obviously, you were doing the announcing.
Right.
It was pretty crazy. It was one of those shows where it doesn't that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, it felt special.
Very much so.
Yeah,
very
cool.
much so.
You worked a tag match with Jake the Snake Roberts, WWE Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about Jake. Backstage and in the ring, because I know there was a couple of ribs done to you backstage.
And
Jake
in
Roberts.
the ring. Yeah. Well, backstage, I mean, we met in Halifax briefly, but I mean, we didn't we just talked really kind of briefly, but we didn't really work with each other or anything like that, so we didn't get a connection. But in Moncton, we got to work with each other, and we kind of noticed we have the same type of sense of humor, and you just kind of get along with certain people. It doesn't matter if they're Hall of Famers or not. You just get along with certain kind of people, and he's definitely the type of people that that I get along with. We kind of connected right away, and so the ribs in Miramichi the second night, he put padlocks on my gear bag, which was they're still there because they're padlocks. I have to cut them open, and he didn't give me the keys for them, so they're just kind of on my bag for now. So that's just funny stuff. I like that stuff. Yeah. And in the ring, what he does, the first night, I took a pretty nasty spill, which
we will talk about in a few minutes.
Okay, perfect. Well, so we had that little spill, and I fell in the ring. We kept going, of course, which I mean that's nothing to be proud of. It's just how the business is. And then the finish is boom, get to the DDT 1, 2, 3, but he felt necessary to grab my bruises, which are pretty significant, after giving me the DDT, and he had an unshaven, just a little stubble on his beard, so it's very kind of, it's like cat claws just clawing at you, and he was rubbing up and down my chest. If you go back and watch that, you can see him just kind of go like this on my chest and laughing at me. I'm like, you motherfucker! Yeah. And he just 1, 2, 3, and he just stays there. He just goes like this for another 10 seconds, trying to push him off. He told us in the locker room he was going to do it. He said his whiskers are the sharpest things in the world, and as soon as he seen your legs, he was like, I'm getting that kid in the ring. Yeah, man, he was grabbing up my legs. He was like, oh my god, my arm was like that big. He was just grabbing at him.
I spent 2 days on the road with him. He is quite the character.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy, and so is his daughter Cody.
Cody's really nice.
When I asked the fans to submit questions, actually Cody Smith messaged me with a question for you, and she wrote, "Ask," and maybe this must be an inside joke. Ask him what his body says after he puts on a fresh, out of the wash Lululemon pants. You know what that means? I figured it must be an inside joke between you and her, but
it feels really good. It feels really good. I wear tights. I got a brand new pair of Lululemon tights, and I put it under my stuff because I don't like underwear that much, so I just wear tights. It's I guess it's a wrestler in me. It feels good.
Breaking news, everyone.
Breaking news. Getting
back to the match, you mentioned the fall. I think someone has called it the Deathplex. The box Deathplex. So quickly explain what happened, because there were a lot of fans that have sent me messages. Was he okay? Da da da. It was a pretty bad fall. So tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, sure. Definitely the most me or Titus actually got hurt in the ring. I've in my time in the ring, that was the worst kind of thing that ever happened to me. We were going for the superplex, and we've done the superplex, man. I worked Titus. We've been working all year. You know, a lot of places are putting us together, and which is fun. We're about the same size, about the same height, you know, so we go at it pretty hard. And you know, I love Titus very much. So when we're in there, we trust each other with our bodies and lives and all that stuff. So you know, it feels good to go with somebody like that and to trust somebody like that in the ring, where you can kind of go. You know, sometimes you're in with somebody that's not really experienced, and you want to give a good show. I always want to, you know, I don't know, I'm not saying steal the show, but I always want to make sure people remember me and, you know, put on a great performance and all that stuff. So when you have somebody like that can go and you're friends with, you know, with their limits. So, you know, we go, and we've been doing the superplex all year. And that particular night, as you know, it was hot in there, man.
Yeah.
It was muggy.
It was muggy.
It felt like it almost felt like there's a fog in there, you know. So the ropes were super, super, super slippery, and you know that metal kind of gimmick between the post and the turnbuckle was beyond slippery. So as you can tell, if you look at it, I think it's called Markus Burke Slip. There's only like 700 views on it, which is
I'm going to play
awesome.
it actually during the podcast.
Sweet, awesome. So I slipped once. I try to catch myself, and I slip right back. And if you can't really tell how bad it is, but I scratch my right leg really bad, and then I bump the inside of my left leg, and I kind of fall. I was gonna fall here on the post, like on my rib area, but I kind of tucked my arm in to not fucking kill myself. So all the impact was on my forearm, so my forearm was bumping. I don't know if you can get a picture of that whenever you do.
I do have pictures as well.
There you go. So it was bumping. It sucked. I remember falling. Go ahead.
And was Titus somehow trying to prevent, like when the two of you are up there, it's almost like a dance. Like once you start to fall, you could tell Titus was trying to prevent you.
Definitely, yeah.
But then he started to go too.
Yeah, well, credit to him. He tried his best to keep me up there. But, you know, I'm 220 pounds.
Right.
It's not the easiest, and you know, he took the bump with me. His chest was ripped to shit. So, you know, you're going to show the clip, I assume, and then Peter goes down. You know, he's worried right away. You can tell it kind of changes. You know, takes care of Titus, throws him back in the ring. He didn't ask me if I was okay. He just looked at me. I looked at him, gave him the nod, and you know, onto the. And funny enough, it almost added to the match, because I remember we're like, okay, we're gonna superplex, and then we're gonna go to the finish. And boom, superplex obviously didn't happen. So, you know, boom, I throw him in the ring. He goes in the ring. I follow him. I'm like, okay, what's going on? I'm like, okay, I'm called something, and we do it. Boom, boom. And but when we're both in the ring, slide back in the ring after that botch. Usually, when you botch, people will be, you fucked up, or something of the sort. Or people were like,
they were legitimately concerned.
Like people stopped like talking, right. Stopped doing anything. People were like, shit. Then when we rolled back in the ring, people started clapping, and in my head, I'm like, well, this is perfect, because you want a crowd at a certain level right before the end. You know, it's like a movie. You know, boom, and right before the end was that spot, and when we rolled in, people like started cheering really hard. So by the end, people were on their feet. So it kind of helped the match in a way.
So what runs through your mind? Like as soon as you get hurt, are you thinking, oh shit, that fucking hurts. Oh my god, I gotta get back in the ring and finish this match. Like, did you just put the pain like away immediately?
Yeah. I looked at my hand. My hand was bleeding, and there was a bunch of blood in my hand. I'm like, I'm not going to look at my hand anymore. So I just got to focus. You know, I knew I was hurt, but I was like, I'm just going to finish this off here. It's pretty much the end. So I'm not going to go all this way to Sin Cara, the whole thing where, my pinky hurts, so I'm going to stop the match. Right? So yeah, you just get in there and finish it, man.
And a lot of fans don't know the top of those posts, they're just cut steel. They're not sanded down. It's very sharp. Yeah. And from my view on the other side of the ring, when you fell, it looked like I was expecting you to have a square in your chest. I thought, like, I couldn't see that you put your arm, so, you know. I
put my arm down, yeah.
Quick thinking.
Yeah, if it wasn't for my arm, I don't know. I think I might have maybe broken some ribs or something, because it was going right for it would have sucked. It would have sucked.
And then, of course, you took the old DDT from Jake Rowers.
The old DDT.
You mentioned Julian and Titus. it's no secret that you're going to venture off a new chapter in your life. But before we get into that, let's talk about your outside of the ring. Like I know you guys fought for years in the ring, but outside of the ring, you guys are really good friends. Just tell me a little bit of your feelings toward Julian Young and Titus, because you guys have been together since day one.
Yeah. Goodness. Yeah, we've known each other for a long time. Sorry, my beautiful girlfriend just walked in, making some
noise.
Hi, Emily. Yeah, I love those guys very much. I know that if anything happens to me or if anything happens to them, we have each other's back. So it's comforting in a way. Julian is the most OCD, weirdest person you'll ever meet in your life. We can probably confirm that. Yeah. And but he's that's his personality. Some people legit oh my God, this guy is too much, but I just like him. He's a nice guy. He's always been nice to me, and very relaxed. Titus as well. He has his own things. It's not like we see each other every week, but once we see each other, it's just hang out, have fun.
You guys have such chemistry in the ring. And
yeah.
Like I said, you've been together for...
In the ring and in life. We just hang out. We just, some people connect. Again, like we just talked a while ago. Just kind of that thing.
Great. You announced not too long ago that you have decided to venture off from the Maritimes. You're moving to Florida. Before you go there, of course, you're going to Destiny World Wrestling.
Yeah, Destiny.
October 3rd, No Limits. You're facing Randy Rain. Talk a little bit about Destiny Wrestling. For
sure. Destiny's from Toronto. It's a Toronto-based organization. They throw some pretty kick-ass shows. They're very new, very young fed, but a lot of money's been put in, and it's all guys that are about to be kind of big deals. Do you know what I mean? Like all the guys that were there backstage. I remember going backstage like, holy crap, this is like the cream of the indies. Like the good guys. Like what I mean, the very, 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 very the best of the indies. So I was like, okay, and they asked me to go, which is again another surreal kind of moment where you're like, you want me to go? Like, okay, how do you know who I am? So I started off in a 4-way last month or 2 months. Last month, yeah. They put me in a 4-way just to see what would happen, and nobody knew who I was up there. So I came out with no music to do the thing that I do. I'm gonna do my thing, and people were like kind of throwing back. Who the hell is this guy? But by the end of the match, I got a eats a meat chant. So I was like, all right, I got him. Everybody was too busy okay, I gotta do my spot. And I'm just like, oh, what are you gonna do? I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna go out there and do my thing. And by the end of it, people were just shitting on me. So I'm like, perfect. Yeah. If all the fans kind of hate me or tell me to eat meat, or if they hate my character or like my character or whatever it is, I just want them to be involved. That's why they pay the money. If they're talking to their mates on the side or talking to their friends and not paying attention, then I'm not doing my job.
Right.
So back to Destiny. I'm gonna work a guy called Randy Rain. He's 2 years in the business, cup of coffee in the business, but I guess he's got a lot of interest in the big times. He's a big guy, big dude, 6'4", 230, 240.
And you guys are in the semi-main event before that huge triple threat that I've seen advertised. Rey Mysterio, Ricochet, and
PJ Black.
Yeah.
Justin Gabriel, yeah.
Yeah, that's quite the card.
That's quite the card, man. So I'm stoked, I'm happy. The promoter has a lot of faith in me, so it's good. Like I said, I was buried in a 4-way, and now I'm semi-main, or one of the big matches on the card. So
yeah,
I'm pretty stoked about it. And again, it's another kind of I've had a chip on my shoulder for a little while. I know I'm good. I know I'm good. It's not
you have to have confidence, right?
I have to have confidence. So it's just good to know that people a promoter feels that way as well.
So what made you decide to branch away from Maritime? Was it the tough experience, or?
I think, man, and listen, I'm 33 years old. I don't want to be 50 years old and be like, I should have tried, shoulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda. And dude, I wanna make $1 million. As simple as that. It's pretty simple. I want to make $1 million.
Well, there you go. That's a good goal to have.
It's not bad to have. So I'm gonna try my best. I make a very good living in wrestling in the Maritimes, and like I said, I'm not shitting on the Maritimes because love the Maritimes. Whenever everything is done, it might be 6 months, 2 months, 3 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. I'm gonna come back. This is where I'm gonna live. I'm gonna have a house either in PEI or in Shediac or somewhere on the water. So
Right.
and that'll be that.
Okay. Looking back before you take off, competing in the Maritimes, what's one of your fondest memories, or some of your fondest memories? Anything stand out, or?
The Maritimes, man. So many things, man. Just the interaction with the guys. I mean, the boys backstage are wonderful. I think there's right at this time is quite special. A lot of people, like everyone, respects each other and want to help each other, and it wasn't always like that. And I hope that I brought a little bit of that. I helped a bit of that, so that's just to help the guys, because the territory, you got to keep going. If nobody helps each other, then what's going to happen.
And Jake Roberts did mention that to me. He said the backstage, the locker room, with IHW in particular, he was talking about. He loved that all the boys were there with one common goal. They were all getting along just to make the show the best. So yeah, exactly what your point you were saying.
So that's very, that's nice. That's always cool. Anything other than that, I mean, working all the guys that I worked, Wrestle Center had its ups and downs, but I did
faced some great guys there.
Great guys
Johnny
at
Mundo.
high points. Man, me and Morrison, geez, me
Yeah.
and Johnny Mundo. Working a guy like Johnny Mundo, you don't know what to expect, and you get there, and he's just a cool guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, what do you want to do?" Then we build a match, and he sees that you're a talent, so he goes above and beyond what he's paid there. He could have went there and did what I'm not gonna mention any names, some other guys kind of took the night off and be like, whatever, but he didn't. We went all out. We kicked each other in the head, and we went at it. So stuff like that.
And you guys seem to be almost like the same type of guy. Like you guys get along great afterwards.
Oh.
Like you seem to be like he's a good guy, and
Yeah, he was a really good guy. We had a couple drinks, and we traveled together, so it was good. Kept in touch. I got his phone number and everything. So if I'm ever in that area, I'll definitely give him a call so we can hang out.
Yeah. A lot of the Wrestle Center fans, I know because the last show was canceled due to something at the Forum, felt like they never got to didn't know about your last match. And I know a lot of fans messaged me about that. Like, they were kind of upset that they didn't know the last match they saw you was going to be officially your last match. So what would you like to say? The Halifax fans are some of the best fans in wrestling.
Agreed, 100%.
Do you have any words for the fans of Halifax? Because they didn't really get a chance to have their closure with you, so to speak.
Well, you know what, man? Just who knows? I might see you guys in a couple months. Who knows, right? So, I just want to tell you guys that I love you guys. You guys are awesome. You guys definitely gave me a confidence where I wouldn't be where I'm at today, which is, like I said, I'm nowhere. But I just want to tell you that I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for Wrestle Center fans, for sure. Mosier and Tyler really, they gave me the platform, but fans just, accepted me and took me, and in the last year, how many times did I win last year, Dave? This many times. And it didn't matter. Some guys need that, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter what I did or what if I lost or whatever. They just got behind me and they believed in me. So it's like, thanks, guys. I definitely couldn't. I wouldn't be at the position I'm in if it wasn't for that.
Why do you think the fans connected with you so? Like, it seemed to be just off the get-go and just...
Yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't know. If I had to guess, I give my 100%. There's no half-ass in it. I go out there and people say, oh, it's a character, but it's 100% me. If you know me, I'm very intense, and I can be relaxed. Of course, I'm downtime and relaxed. But when it's time to go, I'm ready to go.
Right.
I've been in fights, and it's just a different kind of. I'm one of those. When you see Ronda Rousey kind of come out for MMA fans for that walk from the back to the octagon, she has a particular look where she doesn't look like anyone anything else like that you've seen him before, but that's just me. When you see me in the back and there's 10, 20 minutes to go before the match, you don't come talk to me because, I'm not going to talk to you, or I'm just going to tell you to go fuck yourself. I'm sorry for the language. I'm not that's my battle mode. You know what I mean? I'm going out there. There's not, it's not, I'm going out there for fake wrestling. I'm going out there to kick your head off, and, you better kick me back because, that's how it is. Well, if you remember my match with Mike Bailey, Speedball Bailey, we kicked the shit out of each other, man. Yeah. That was it. Like, I was bruised up, but after the match, it was perfect. We hugged each other, and I was like, yeah, good. So, I don't know why. Maybe that's it. Maybe all the explanation is why they took to me. But I appreciate it very much, because I've never wrestled in front of those kinds of fans, that's for sure. And it doesn't matter where I wrestled. Especially there's one time I'm hoping that, there's been a lot of heat of like, oh, they feel like they're not getting what they deserve or whatever, which I can understand, but I hope that they stick to it. There's Moncton with IHW and Wrestle Center in Halifax. Just stick to it, guys. And because right now what you guys have right now is special. So just
actually that when I asked the fans to submit questions, a lot of it was regarding Wrestle Center and Maritime wrestling scene as a whole right now. And what are your thoughts of what's going on right now? I'm hesitant to ask you because of who I am and my past with the company and stuff. But a lot of fans were like, as far as I'm concerned, I hope, I think they'll continue with huge success and all the power to them. But
my thoughts?
Yeah, what are your thoughts with Wrestle Center right now?
With Wrestle Center as a Wrestle Center or Maritime Wrestling?
Both. Let's do the two-part question.
Sure. Let's go for the Maritime Wrestling thing first. I hope that somebody steps up. Somebody's got to step up. You got your classics. You got your the Tituses, Julians, Double XLs, and Lincoln Steens, Peter Smith, and the other guy from PEI. What they need is somebody to step up for sure, 100%. Somebody needs to put the time in. There's definitely a bunch of guys. Somebody has to come up and kind of take that role because there's a spot right now. There's a huge spot where somebody can come in and take over or try to, just try to make something. Find something. It doesn't matter who it is. Just try something. Just take a swing at it. So hopefully somebody will do that.
Do you see
for Wrestle Center?
Do you see anybody that you think would be good in that role, or do you see someone that when you see them, you go, God, that guy could be big?
Well, Jesus, I love Double XL, Steve Arsenault. He definitely caught on fire in Halifax. In Moncton, he's really hot. I feel like he needs something. I don't know what it is. He'll figure it out. He's a smart guy. He's very talented. So. So him, I like Kirk Obi a lot. He feed Dean Fisk or something. In the Wrestle Center, he had the and that guy really got over it, but he's not doing that elsewhere. So he's very young in the business, very, 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 very young in the business. So he needs time, but hopefully he can get something or with somebody or something. Just to catch on fire. That'd be very good for him because he's a good talent inside the ring. Just needs that confidence a little more. I'm sure I'm leaving people out, but those are two that come to mind right away. Other than the obvious, like the Titus and stuff. Matt Bullen, I wish Matt Bullen. I like Matt Bullen has the best face I think in Maritime Wrestling. His face is very good. He looks like a monster. Very good. He looks like a monster. Yeah. I feel like he needs to get his ass in the gym a little more and get booked elsewhere, and he could really be. I'm not saying maybe he could be the top guy. I'm not saying that he wouldn't, but he could take. There's a huge role. You know what I mean? Like Pete Smith is halfway through the door at this point. You know what I mean? He's 46 years old. I'm sure he'll do it until he's 50. But I'm saying, what I mean? There's a spot for a full-time guy that will want to do that kind of role. And Matt Bullen's pretty much the biggest guy we have. So why not kind of work towards that? Go to the gym. Do your thing. So there's that. Troy Merrick just got back from England. I'm hoping he keeps it up. So there's a bunch of guys.
The Maritime wrestling scene's in good hands, I think.
I believe so as well. And I've heard a lot of people like, it's kind of on a down point right now, which I disagree. Um, I disagree. I think Halifax may be on the down side, but because we're going to talk about Wrestle Center right here. The thing I love Wrestle Center, and I'm not shitting on Tyler and Jason Mosier. They're two very inexperienced guys in the business, where it's very hard to make money as a promoter, as an owner, as a whatever. And they came in and they thought they thought what they were doing was right, and it was at first. They brought in, I think the first show was AJ Styles against JP, TP Sims, and and notice I didn't mention him in any of my who to watch from there.
I can't deny I love JP Sims.
Yeah, I like JP.
I love everybody.
So I think they did really good at first. They brought in him, and then there's a particular thing, if you want to look at wrestling terms, it's called hot-shotting a territory, which means you give them too much right away. And, you bring in AJ, and the next show, I think it was Daniels, and then it was two guys, and then it was three, or Colt Cabana and two other guys, and it was always like up. It's like, but then when you try, okay, well, we spent a lot of money, so we gotta cut the cost after a full year. So let's just do after the Mick Foley, Colt Cabana, and Christopher Daniels and Samoa Joe on one show. Yeah, on one fucking show. Then the next show, you're like, well, let's just do Christopher Daniels against who was it? JP Sims.
I don't know. The Samoa Joe show was, I think, my last show. So.
Okay, well, so you're building it's like name after name after name after name after name, and then you're like, well, let's just do a local guy against Christopher Daniels. And nothing against Christopher Daniels, because I think he's one of the best, if not the best, in the world, and he's great to have backstage. What a guy! And but the fan, he's great right now. But the fans will be like, oh, that's all we're getting. Right. But on paper, I mean, Jesus Christ, and it's not the fans' fault. They're just brought up that way. Brought up in the way
they're expecting it every show.
If every show was boom, then you're like, well, let's do Daniels and this guy, and then that'll go over. No, because you hotshotted the territory, and they expect way too much. Right. So after you bring in a show with Mick Foley, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, Colt Cabana, then we'll just go with Christopher Daniels against a local guy. And the show, I remember the show being really good, but it's like, the fans wanted.
Fans were like,
yeah, that's all we're getting.
Right.
And again, I'm not shitting on the Halifax fans, because that's how they were brought up for these shows in particular. Right. And so, anyways, I think they will continue. Wrestle Center, going back to, I think they will continue to work. I'm hoping that they continue to do very well. I think that they learn from certain mistakes that they did, because that's how it is in life and in any business. I like Jason. I like Tyler. We have disagreements on how to do business sometimes, but we've always gotten along. You know what I mean? But if it'd be up to them, you can ask them. I would have had, by this point, I would have had a theme song, a girl manager. And,
What was the craziest thing ever pitched to you? Not even in Wrestle Center, but just in
It was Wrestle Center. I'm gonna shoot on this right now, and I thought it was funny. I thought they were joking at first. They're like, "Okay, man, we secured this song, and we want you to use it for someone." I'm like, "Man, I'm just getting over it right now. With no song, do my whole gimmick." So I'm like, "A song?" He's like, "Oh, just let me send it to you," and it was.
Oh, the Lion King.
The Lion King song. In the jungle, the mighty jungle. That was my fucking theme song, dude. I'm like, awesome. I'm like, I respectfully decline your offer. Thank you very much. I'm like, imagine you come out there, you're like the fucking lion, man. Like, oh, yeah, right. Yeah. No. But that was pretty nuts. That was pretty funny.
Let's look into the future. You have announced you're moving to Florida. There's been a lot of rumors. Is he joining?
Breaking news.
Breaking news. In fact, today, even on your Facebook page, there's big news coming. I'm sure you won't tell me, but I'll ask you anyway. But a lot of fans are guessing: is he going to NXT? Did he sign? What are you doing in Florida?
Well, the breaking news is, man, I can't really talk about it.
Okay.
I can't talk about it. I just can't. I wish I could.
Okay, that's fine.
Let me
That's
tell
fair.
you.
But before
Let me
you
tell.
found
Let me
that
tell you
niche.
one thing.
Okay.
It's not NXT and it's not WWE and it's not Florida.
Ah,
Oh,
I don't know.
well. So, uh-oh.
I'll guess
So,
after the podcast is over.
yeah, I will. I will. I will. I
Okay.
will. It still might be Florida at some point, but I was just offered something, and where I'm definitely going to take it. I'm gonna go for it. It's something that's supposed to be big, something new. So let's see. I have an opportunity. I'm gonna try it.
And when
I have
will
a lot
we?
of good people telling me that something big, something good will happen. So we'll see.
And when will we learn?
When I can confirm anything, you will know first. I will call you and do the show again, and we'll do a 10-minute, 15-minute thing where well, you
I'm
look pretty big.
I'm gonna hold that to you.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. 100%.
um,
So that's it.
I asked the fans to submit some questions. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of them, or because
No, definitely go right ahead.
they were?
Before though, I gotta say that my girlfriend is upset. She
Uh-oh.
was like, "Oh, we're going to Florida on the beach and all these things, woohoo!" Then it's like, sorry,
Are you going someplace cold?
dude, stop it. But the original plan was to go for Florida. It was just something else happened. So
Right. Which kind of sucks because you were going to move like 20 minutes from where my parents live in Florida, and I was going to come
I
down.
know,
Ugh.
I know, it would have been awesome. Which I guess it's still on the table. It's just at the moment, right now, no.
Right. Um, a fan asked, and I'm not going to name the fans. I'll just
Sure.
read the
You
questions.
can name the fans if you want. I don't
I,
know.
you know what? I didn't write them down, so
Is it all you? Is it all your questions that you?
all my
There you
questions.
go.
After your career is over in wrestling, what do you see yourself doing? Because I mean, wrestlers, you don't want to be wrestling until you're 50, or
No.
maybe you do. I don't know.
Well,
You're only 33.
yeah.
Like if it ended tomorrow, what do you see yourself doing? Basically, staying in the
It's
PEI.
yeah, it's funny. You know what? I've always wanted to be a sommelier. I've been in the wine industry for a very long time, and I love wine. I've kind of fallen out of it for the past year because I've dedicated so much time to wrestling. So looking out now, I really think after everything is done, I'll probably be a fireman. That's pretty much what I think. Weirdly enough, I've always had the interest, and I like the hours. It's good. I like the camaraderie. I like I like the backstage and being a fireman with all the
Yeah.
boys. It's kind of that kind of camaraderie. You cook together, you sleep, sleep in the same kind of blah blah blah. And so I think that's probably after everything is done. That's probably where I'm gonna be headed.
A fan mentioned your ladder match last year with Julian Young, and the question was, how do you and Julian prepare? How do you and an opponent prepare for a match like that? Like, do you go in the ring and work some spots out, or do you just trust them and you go?
Well, my thing is always to tell a story. You know how you see a lot of either it doesn't matter if it's a ladder match or not. It's very much, especially ladder matches. You go out there and you give all the spots right away. It's like bam, start off with something crazy. If you go back to that match, the reason I think personally why it was so over with the crowd was because we started with nothing. We started with wrestling, brought one ladder in, and then we didn't use it. Then I brought another ladder in, and then we had a conversation with ladders, and then
Yeah.
started incorporating ladders a little bit, and then it was then a couple afterwards it was a chair, and then the bigger ladder, and by the end people are like table, and in my head I remember I was like perfect because the next spot is the table spot. So and then Julian comes out and pulls out the table, and when the crowd is expecting what you're doing, like they want to see something, it feels like I just like to tell a story. If it builds up, and then it's like anything else. If you go see any kind of movie and it just kind of, I mean, having a movie with all explosions is super fun, but having something where, it kind of builds up, and you have a great ending, which, that's kind of what I go for.
Right.
So, and to go back to the question, we just talk a little bit. He has things he wants to do. I had things I want to do. Put them together. Then sometimes you're like, this doesn't make any sense. And when you're in the ring, you have to gauge time as well. So you have to cut out some things and you have to improvise. And I do a lot of improvising in my stuff, which I really I feel it adds to just the wrestling where you don't nothing not everything is just so like you can tell it's scripted and everything is like oh duck poo hey backflip hey. So a lot of it's called in the ring when you were with me, so which
Right.
I enjoy very much.
You always hear wrestlers refer to listening to the fans. So
Yeah,
if the fans are reacting or not reacting to certain things, you explain maybe a little bit what that means. Like,
sure.
but yeah, go ahead.
Well, just an example. Cape Breton, the last Wrestle Center show, is me and Dick Durning or Richard Shineri, as they call him. Laugh.
No comment.
Yeah. Um, and I love working Durning. Like I love working Titus or Julian or whatever. He's very, very good. So what we did, they gave us the finish, and we just looked at each other. I shook his hand, he shook mine, and we're like, we'll see each other in the ring. Nothing was planned. We didn't plan a single spot. We just play. Well, his finish, but I know his finish, the split leg and moonsault. So I was like, dude, we got this, and we killed it, man. People were like, oh, like we had false finishes, we had the whole thing, and we had a second row drop kick. You know what I mean? And nothing was planned. Nothing was. He just feels me, and nothing. A lot of the things in the match weren't called. It was just. He's like, okay, it's my time to take over, so I do my thing, boom, boom, boom. He sets up for something that I'm going to do. He knows I do the drop kick. He knows I do the kick to the head. He knows I do the power bomb. He knows that, so we know how to work each other.
Right.
So we didn't call anything, and we had a wonderful match. And that was probably the match I'm most proud of in the last year, just because we didn't plan anything. Nothing was planned. So that's very, and all we did was listen to the crowd, because they had some matches beforehand. Big, how wrestling is, like promos and promos. There was a big promo right before us, so the crowd was kind of, so went out there, built them back up, because there was more matches after us. We didn't give them too much where, we made them come and that was it. Like, ooh, I'm done. We just gave them enough where, all right, the next match is coming on, so they're gonna be hot for that match.
Right.
You're welcome, JP Sims, Julian Young, and Wellman, because that was the event. Anyway. So yeah. So you listen to the crowd, you build that crowd. I love doing that stuff, not planning anything but the finish. I do that with different guys. I think I'm one of the only ones that do it in terror. I'm not like tapping myself on the shoulder or in the back or anything. I feel it's very important to be a better worker, just to listen. And I can go out there and have a match where everything's planned, but I like doing that stuff.
Right. What fan wants to know what you want to accomplish in the business, like moving forward. Like you already make $1 million, of course.
Millions of dollars.
But are titles important?
That's me. Not at all.
No.
Like I said, are you asking me that right now?
Well,
I didn't win once this year. All right, I really didn't. I didn't win one single fucking time.
Well, some people don't need titles.
No, I mean I don't. I don't need it. I don't. It'd be nice. I mean, if somebody wants to give me like the head job of being the head of a company, of course, man. I'll do the best. I'll But if the promoter feels that somebody else should have it, then I would get paid the same. I get paid more than the champion most of the time. So don't worry about it.
I mean, we were talking earlier about Jake Roberts. He never held a title.
No, exactly. Do you want to know his paycheck? It's pretty good. Yeah. If I could make his money, I'd be all right. What title?
It is your birthday, so I'm not going to keep you much longer because you probably have big plans tonight. But you keep looking over at Emily. I want to ask you, with you moving, and it's because of your career. Talk a little bit about your support system you have. I know I spoke with Emily the other night at the after party, and she's so supportive.
She is.
I know your dad. I met your dad the other night. Tell me a little bit about who you have around you and what it means.
I grew up in, just growing up. I go back to grow up where I grew up in Campbellton, New Brunswick. It's very hard, man. I come from a broken home. Like my family, mom and dad separated when I was super young. My dad went through some problems. My mom, did the best that she could as an uneducated 21 or 22-year-old, holding multiple jobs. Me getting into fights, getting kicked out of school, all that stuff. It was very hard. And I grew up very fast, but not school smart. I'm very street smart. I was on my own at 16. I had my own apartment, and that's been it since then. my dad thankfully has gotten clean. He's a wonderful person. And since I'd say probably he's always been supportive for me in anything that I've done. He's been a wonderful father to me. I'm never, but in the past 4 years, he's been very, very supportive. And my girlfriend, I met a girl 3 4 years ago, 3 years ago maybe. So something like that. And she is wonderful. Anything that I do, we talk about it as a couple, and which obviously you know what I mean. Any decision is, you know, the kind of we have to decide both of us. But she knows why she knew me before we got together. She knows what I want to do, and things are happening for me right now. And if I don't take these opportunities, I don't want to. I just have to. So I just have to go for it. And she's very supportive. My dad is very supportive. My mom's very supportive. My sister is supportive. Um, and my friends, all my boys around are very supportive. Sometimes you get some jealousy or whatever it is. I don't see it. All the boys are super awesome. All my friends, anyway, are super awesome. If you get some other guys I'm not even going to mention, they're just cunts. You know what I mean? But my friends are incredibly supportive, and so it's good. It's good for everyone. It's good for me. And let's say best case scenario, I make it. Best case scenario, what's that's gonna do for Maritime Wrestling? It's gonna help it.
Right.
So it's good. It's been good, man. And it's nervous. It's surreal. It's a bunch of things, but yeah, it's good. That's all I can say.
Well, I want to wish you the best of luck. I probably won't see you before you leave. I said my goodbye to you the other day.
We'll see. You might actually.
Maybe.
You might.
But I want to thank you too, because like every so often something is said or you hear stuff, and I was like, oh, I just want to like rant. But then I always remember the advice you gave me, which was just shut your fucking mouth, take the high road, and I tell that to myself all the time. I was like, what, Markus Burke? So thank you for that advice, because
my pleasure. I have to tell myself that sometimes as well, and sometimes I don't take my own advice and I say stupid shit, and I had to delete it right away. I'm like, "Urgh."
Yeah. Well,
but it's the best way to do it, because haters gonna hate, bro. It's always gonna be like that, and may as well just be the best that you can and show them, not by responding in some stupid shit, and just kill them with success. Yeah. That's all you do. Well, maybe breaking news. October 17th, you might see me, because things kind of got switched around a little bit. So, so maybe keep your ear to the ground, and we'll see what happens.
So you're not going to break any more news tonight?
No, unfortunately.
All right, man. Well, anyway, on behalf of all the Maritime Wrestling fans who wanted to say best of luck to you, I say that to you now. From me, best of luck. I will be seeing you, I'm sure, down the road. Good luck to you and Emily, and we will see you with $1 million in your pocket someday, I'm sure.
Millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars. Thank you so much for joining us. Eric Doucette, Markus Burke, thank you so much.
Victor E. Suave.